Tony, what's up? Good to see you again. Now, I'm sure we got a lot of interesting thoughts and comments based on our last one.
Yeah.
The negative side of quality deer management.
Yeah.
But there's a two-part series to this. We had every intention.
Yeah.
To talk about the positive side of quality deer management.
Yeah.
You know, let's get the negative out of the way. Let's talk about the positive stuff.
Absolutely.
Because I'm telling you what, wasn't for this philosophy, I wouldn't be who I am, and I'm sure you wouldn't be who you are, and I'm sure you, the ones that practice philosophy, it's your being.
Absolutely. Yeah. QDM is very near and dear to your heart, to my heart. It's our purpose, it's our passion.
Yeah.
And if you take it, I know, speaking for you, it's the same for me. If you take QDM out of our life, you and we are two totally different people. You're off in some part of the world doing something different, and I'm doing the same.
Yeah. It's an amazing philosophy. It's one philosophy that we will go down, I know, swinging to fight for it.
Yeah.
I know I have done that. I've almost lost my job over it many times. I mean, I will advocate for the philosophy, the true being of what it was created to be.
Absolutely.
And it is an amazing philosophy. And I think it's a vehicle, if you will, to lead to other things, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And in this video, that's what we're going to do, is talk about the positives, highlight the positives of the QDM philosophy. And really that first point, as you said it really well, for me personally, QDM was the vehicle that allowed me to explore the natural world. I remember when I shot my first deer when I was 6 years old with my dad. I could take you to that exact spot. I remember where the deer was standing. I remember everything about that day. And after that moment, I was hooked, not on deer hunting or shooting deer, but I was interested and passionate about the animal, about the white-tailed deer, and I just sunk my teeth into it. I wanted to learn all that I could about the white-tailed deer, how to improve the quality of their lives, how to improve the quality of their habitat, how to hunt them better, more effectively. And that, going down that road led me to quality deer management, the QDMA back in the day. And once I found that, I sunk my teeth into the QDM philosophy, and I consumed every piece of literature I could about white-tailed deer, about their habitat, about how to manage their habitat. And I used that vehicle then to just pursue a career and a livelihood in the outdoors, in conservation, around wildlife. And as a result, I've been very fortunate to travel all over the world, to Pakistan, South America, Europe, Australia, Africa, North America, all over North America. And I honestly, to this day, I owe it to the white-tailed deer, and I owe it to the QDM philosophy, because without that, who knows what I'd be doing. Because of that philosophy, I was able to channel that passion. It gave me some purpose. I was able to channel that energy into a purpose and a career, and it's led me down a path that I'm eternally grateful for.
Yeah, there's nothing else to say about that, because I can basically echo that, other than Australia and all this other stuff. I could say Pennsylvania, Virginia. No, but it's the same thing. It's just the philosophy is a lot of things.
Yeah. And
there's more positives than negatives, for sure.
Yeah.
So.
And I think for a lot of you guys out there watching and listening, it's the same for you too. I mean, I think you were probably a deer hunter, and then you wanted to take that next step, and then you really sunk your teeth into QDM. And if you take QDM out of your life up until this point, then I think you would agree that you'd be a different person, and you'd be in a different place.
Yeah. Yep.
And to me, one of the really cool things about the QDM philosophy is QDM is quality deer management, but it's more than just about deer and deer habitat. It's wildlife management. And to go back, and I really like the metaphor that it was a vehicle, because imagine QDM is this car. I hopped in, I pushed on the gas, and down this road of wildlife management I went 100 miles an hour. And as a result of it, I became interested and passionate, not just about deer and deer management and food plots, but about timber management, TSI, pollinators, learning pollinator species. I love to learn wildflowers. I have to know every species of plant in my neck of the woods, whether it's native and beneficial to wildlife, whether it's non-native and needs to be removed. Learning my songbirds, learning all species of flora and fauna and how they work together. That entire passion for me I attribute directly to QDM.
Yeah, the vehicle concept is funny. The first thing that jumped in my head is you're driving and all of a sudden you're like this and going, wait, what was that?
Yeah.
And if some people, they just keep going, but they don't go back and see, oh, that was pollinators.
Yeah.
That was butterflies. That was birds. That was squirrels. That was this.
Yeah.
You know, you're passing up all these things. Slow the car down.
Yeah.
But no, it's just not to bring religion into it, but I strongly feel this way, is that our Creator, there's a reason why we do a lot of things, obviously. And there was a reason why you discovered QDM.
Yeah.
There's so many reasons why we learned about the white-tailed deer. Great. But we learned how to manage the home of that. Think about that. The knowledge that you have in your head is amazing that wasn't there.
Yeah.
About wildlife and the habitat that it calls home. Mm-hmm. And that is absolutely amazing. But there's a reason why you were led down this road. Yeah. And it's for bigger things, I strongly believe. I know for myself, the Deer Hunter Project would have never prepared me. QDM without it would never have prepared me, what I'm trying to say, for the Deer Hunter Project. Yeah. The videos that we do and the messaging, it was all because of that. Yeah. It was all because of that. I know for me, that's one of the things that I'm really proud of. Not something that's hanging on my wall. Not at all. No. It was the knowledge and the preparedness for to be an advocate. Yeah.
And that's the cool thing about QDM. That's a really cool point. I think some of the best benefits of QDM are the intangibles. Not a buck on the wall, not an award certificate, not a framed plaque, but that knowledge, that passion, that purpose. Yep. All those things that you can't touch, but they're that you feel, those emotions. Yeah. And you mentioned knowledge and kind of piggyback on what we just talked about, how QDM opened our mind to the big picture that is wildlife management. I mean, think of what we learned driving down this road in the vehicle that is QDM, all that we've learned along the way, all that knowledge and information.
One could debate it, but I'll debate it until I'm blue in the face. Because of the QDM philosophy, it has opened the door. There's not a time period in our history of managing wildlife where we have more knowledge on how to manage for a certain species. Yeah. And I strongly believe it was the QDM philosophy was that vehicle to learn. There's so much information out there now. Some of it is overkill. Yeah. I don't know if that was the right way. There's just too much.
It can be overwhelming.
Overwhelming. Thank you. Yeah. So, but the knowledge that we have, I mean, anybody that's really into quality management, you go to a co-op, a QDMA, NDA meeting, and pick somebody and say, hey, well, how many ounces per gallon do you do the X, Y, and Z to kill this? Oh, 2.5 ounces. Right. Oh, it's like, who knows this? Yeah. Yeah. It's exciting. What's the Latin name for this? Or hey, the cutting and the pick a tree, the stuff that you had no idea that you were capable of. It's right. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's empowering, honestly. I mean, QDM, like you said, there's all this information spread across this desk and table in front of us, and we have access to all of it. And it's our responsibility to use it wisely and responsibly. But prior to QDM, that information didn't exist. No. It was only available to biologists or to certain groups of people. Yes. Now it's available to the common everyday guy, the weekend warrior, the most passionate manager, whatever. We have access to so much information that we can do so much good with.
Yeah, and to go along with that is because the philosophy has educated you on many topics, when you hear something, you have the ability to question it. That's one thing we forget. Yeah. Like, wait a minute here. Yeah. Whether through state agencies or even a hunting wildlife organization, like, wait a minute here. We have the ability where stuff is not getting pulled over our head there. So, knowledge is power.
Absolutely.
Like you said.
Yeah. And that knowledge isn't just limited to management. We've put that knowledge to good use, and as a result, enjoyed better deer hunting and become better deer hunters. Oh my gosh. As a result of QDM.
Where do you begin down that hole, man? Yes, for sure. Better hunting. More older class whitetails out there. Yeah. For the most part. You look at trophy harvest throughout the country. States have increased. The quality of bucks, more trophy, like a Buckeye Big Buck Club. That's what we have in Ohio that measures success, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, those are increased. I mean, people are the technology that's created from it, you know, that help us in pursuit. Yeah, it is overall the opportunities out there.
Yeah,
it could happen.
Yeah, we mentioned in part one how hunting can become less enjoyable, but I mean, I can 100% attribute to better hunting opportunities as a result of QDM. I can think of, I mean, instances, you know, watching a mature buck work a scrape because of a properly balanced deer herd, watching two bucks fight, the vocalizations that you hear as a result of a more intense rut, watching bucks chase does, more pictures of bucks on trail cameras, just more exciting hunts, more enjoyable hunts. I mean, I'm smiling, getting excited about deer season right now. Just think about it. And you know, I can remember what hunting on our property was like before we started shooting does and passing bucks and doing habitat work, and I obviously know what it's like after, and it's night and day.
Oh, big time.
Yeah, and it's because of QDM.
Now, in part one, we talked about fractured relationships.
Yeah.
How if we allow ourselves because of a certain buck or a certain deer, you know, it can get away with some friendships if we allow it to, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But overall, hands down, the friendships that are created.
Oh yeah.
I mean, where do we go with this? Like the QDM co-op, taking landowners that never have spoken, actually might even hated each other, put them in the same room. Next thing you know, they're trading photos. They're helping each other out with equipment. I've seen it. I've seen fractured relationships be healed through a deer. You know, through a deer. Yeah, it's amazing. It is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, the community that was created as a result of QDM, it's almost palpable. It's something that I take a lot of pride in being a part of, and you and I would have never met if it weren't for quality deer management. I brought you down to our property in 2014 because I had met you through social media as a deer consultant. I wanted you to come down and help me whip my property into shape, and you came down, you did that, and we've been best friends ever since. I can point to a handful of my best, not just best hunting buddies, but genuinely good best friends that I've met through a shared passion and interest in quality deer management. And because of that friendship and relationship, my brother and I have gone out and enjoyed hunts together here with you, where my brother shot a really nice buck. That would not have happened without QDM. My brother and I went out to Illinois and hunted on a couple buddies' farms where I shot a deer, and my brother helped me drag it out, and we have high-fived, and that celebration and those experiences and memories would not exist without QDM.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, to piggyback on that, you talked about your brother. It's the sharing. Like, he was able to shoot, I think it was a 3-year-old, and a really good buck. And I could have shot that all day long. Yeah. But I waited. I wanted his brother. I wanted to share it. I could care less, man. Yeah. That's what QDM thing. I was so excited when they came into town, and I was so excited when he finally connected. Every day he had that opportunity, and finally he connected. And that's what it. You know, that's what it was about. Yeah.
That's QDM in its most pure form. It's those experiences and memories and friendships and relationships, all forged through this shared passion and interest in this philosophy and lifestyle.
Oh yeah. Just like part one, there's always that one that's not necessarily personal. The other ones that we mentioned before, the other positives, they kind of, affect you personally.
Yeah.
But overall, just like part one, like I said, there's that one aspect of it that's the blanket.
Yeah.
And that is through QDM philosophy. If it wasn't for Joe Hamilton going to Texas and meeting Al Brothers and then getting this ball rolling and Joe taking the reins and doing this and all this help coming into it, it created an organization called the Quality Deer Management Association, which is now the NDA.
National Deer Association.
Yep, and then there's Whitetails Unlimited as well. The organizations that are created for this animal, this philosophy, that can go to research, go to EHD research, it can go to CWD research. Are we supposed to be doing it? Are we not doing it? There's people behind the scenes. We can sit there and complain about X, Y, and Z, but there's things that are happening that you have no idea about.
Yeah.
And organizations like the ones that listed, they're the ones that are helping fund that.
Yeah.
And through memberships and donations and stuff, we can still have We're going to have our ups and downs. We're going to have our disagreements and debates about how things should be managed. But overall, the future is so bright.
Yeah.
For this white-tailed deer species, the #1 game species in this country, pursued,
Yeah.
I would say. The money that is generated over this through commerce, just the local communities, to the raising money for organizations. I mean, it is absolutely phenomenal. And I think QDM, the philosophy, can tip its hat. That's saying it had a part of that.
Absolutely.
So
yeah, and I think a lot of that is financial. Honestly, a lot of that money generated that goes to deer. There's a trickle down effect that there's a lot of species out there that need some help right now. The ruffed grouse, the wild turkey, especially. And if you take deer out of the equation, they're going to suffer even more. I mean, you take deer out of that North American model of conservation, then everything underneath of it will suffer.
Yes.
And while I agree with you, the future of the white-tailed deer, I think, is strong and secure.
Yes.
And I think that's in large part due to QDM. They have obstacles. There's always going to be hurdles we have to jump and overcome. Yeah. But the QDM philosophy, I think, all the passion and financial resources and energy and organizations, all of that put forth into this species, I think, is a main reason why their future is so secure.
Yeah, and there's going to be people making sure that those dollars are spent wisely.
Yeah. And
directed for the best interests of the white-tailed deer, and not necessarily the selfish aspect of it. And while you were talking, I was listening, but at the same time, something you said jumped in my mind. And we mentioned it earlier. I just can't fathom the thought of no QDM at all.
Yeah.
I mean, where would we be? Where would the species be? Where would the state agency be with just the knowledge and the research? Where would we be without this philosophy? That's something to really think about. Even on the positive aspect of things, it's like, where would we be? I mean, would we still be sitting on a bucket against a tree?
Yeah.
And blue jeans and a red jacket, smoking a cigar? I don't know. Drinking a Busch Light? I don't know, man. I don't know where we would be.
Yeah.
But the financial aspect of it and just who we are as a people, I just know, I know QDMers, true QDMers, they're conservationists.
Yeah.
The true aspect of it. The ones that practice it by the book, they're conservationists.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's funny, I had a shirt one time, is that you can call me a conservationist, but I'd prefer QDMer.
Yeah.
How badass is that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's a moniker I think a lot of us can wear proudly.
Yes.
And just as it is for us, I'm sure it is for you, wildlife is our way of life.